Blake Shelton, considered one of the biggest breakthrough artists of the 2001 year, mainly due to your success of Austin.
Austin was a big record.
Austin was a big one.
I was lucky to get my hands on that thing.
How did you get the question is, how did you get that song and how was it pitched to you?
Well, we had already finished my album. I was on Giant Records at the time, and we'd been working on the album for about 3 years, and we were just about to put the thing out, and I got a call from the record company one day, said, "You got to come hear this song we just found." And so I drove into town that day and heard it, and you know, I was immediately floored by the song. I knew it was a special song, but I didn't think it was going to work for me, to be honest with you. And I even fought him on it a little bit, and I eventually went home and learned to get, you know, the song on my guitar and kind of made it my own. And we ended up putting it on the album. And once we recorded it, just to listen to it, it was a standout, and we all decided it should be the first single, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah, that was a last-minute deal on your album, wasn't it?
It was,
sort of.
And it's scary now to think. You know, what would have happened if we hadn't had that thing.
Where'd the album go if it wasn't for Austin,
yeah.
huh? Yeah. What did you do? You just said it, and I'm going to ask you that question again. When you found Austin, it didn't feel right. What did you do to make it feel right?
Well, the original demo that we had of the song, it was a piano-based sounding demo, and we already had All Over Me, which was my second single on the album, and I didn't want two piano-based sounding things, so I just kind of made it more of a guitar. An acoustic guitar type song. You know, I say my producer, Bobby Braddock, is really the brains behind that whole thing.
What did Bobby Braddock have to do with that song? Didn't he shorten the title or something?
He did. It used to be called If This Is Austin, and he always felt like just calling it Austin was more interesting.
Do you think it would help the success of that song by Austin?
I don't think. You know what? I don't think you could have called that
anything
song.
You want.
Yeah, anything. It would have been
just a good tune.
It was just meant to be a big record for anybody who would have recorded it. I think would have had a big record with that song.
What else is on that album? Talk to me about a couple other songs on that album.
Well, we got, you know, I write a little bit. I got 4 things that I'm a co-writer on the album.
Oh, good.
But you know, my favorite song on the album is probably "Old Red," which is the single we have out now that is doing real well for us.
With all that success coming at you so fast with Austin, what pressure do you feel?
I guess I used to feel more pressure than I do now. I guess simply because, you know, it was just such a big, you know, single, and it was so big, and that's hard. That's a good thing to have, but it's also hard to overcome.
First one out of the box, man.
You're always compared to that, or at least I am.
Right.
You know, have 5 weeks at #1. Now what are you going to do? You know.
You coin your expression. You set the water level.
Yeah. We set it up high to begin with, and the only problem with that is not being considered a failure whenever, you know, your song dies at 8.
Right.
Then it goes to 2, or, you know, or 18, or wherever. You know, to me, I still want to have a long career at this, and it's not a one song career for me. I want it to be multiple songs, and that with Old Red really kicking in how it is, I've started to relax a little bit more lately and thinking, you know, maybe I'll get you know,
the second album.
A couple of years at this, and then we'll see.
How did it change your life, career and personal?
I guess it was real hard on me at first. You know, I kind of went through a period where kind of pushed everybody that was close to me away from me, and from what I hear, that's
the wrong thing to do.
Well, it's the wrong thing to do, and it happens a lot. You know, it was pretty similar to you know, other artists.
Do you think you're on an ego trip?
I think I'm certain I was, and you know, it's something that you have to take some time, or just sit down and think real hard about what your priorities are now, and what were they a year ago when nobody knew who you were, you know, and it's just a matter of you know, kicking yourself in the butt and making yourself straighten up.
Recognizing it.
Yeah, and you know, it's a tough thing to go through.
Yeah, I bet.
But hopefully now, you know, I feel like I've got my feet on the ground a little bit. I like to you know, try to you know, convince people around me to treat me the same way they would, because if you surround yourself with yes people, there's nothing good that can come out of that, because you're not getting any honesty, and people are scared of you. And I need people to be honest with me and tell me when I'm being a jerk or doing something wrong, and I'm not going to get mad about that, you know. But unless I think they're wrong.
What advice did your friend ETC, as I call him when I do the radio show, Mr. Earl Thomas Conley, give you about the pressure that you had and that Austin put on you?
Well, I can't say exactly what Earl said because this is probably a family show. But,
Yeah, pretty much.
Earl's the kind of guy.
He's cool.
He is, and he's. If you want honesty from him, you're going to get it.
Absolutely.
You're going to get exactly. I call Earlvis. I call him.
Earlvis.
He's a cool guy, and I was having some trouble with different outlets of country music. There were some organizations that just flat out didn't like me, and I couldn't understand it, and it was part of my ego thing I went through, and I'd call him and he'd say, "Why, you don't want to get into it, like, man." Earl's thing is always just do, and you hear this all the time, and it's not, this isn't some great new thing I'm going to say here, but he's always just do what you love, and if people like you for it, more power to you. If they don't, at least you went down doing what you love doing and what you believed in. And that's what Earl always did. He got a lot of criticism back when he did. I think he did a record with Anita Pointer too many times, and got a lot of. He caught a lot of crap for that. But you know what? He loved it, and it made him happy, and that's what he believed in.
How did it feel meeting Earl Thomas Conley the first time? Were you nervous?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
You can imagine. Whoever your hero, I don't know whoever your hero is in life, and having a chance to meet him. My situation was even more nerve-wracking because I was not only meeting my hero, but I was going to his house to sit down and write a song with him, and that was really.
He was your hero long before you got to Nashville. You listened to his music way before.
Sir. Back in Oklahoma when I lived there, I remember buying. The first tape of his I bought was at the little bargain bins the Hastings in Ada, Oklahoma, and I had heard, I knew all of his songs, but it wasn't until I actually bought that album that really was just eat up with him. Just his vocals, he sings with so much emotion.
It took you 3 years to make your first CD. When's the next one due out? You thinking about a second one, right?
Yeah, in fact, we've got it mostly recorded at this point.
Oh, good.
And we'll probably come with a new single off that album this fall sometime, maybe late October, November, and that's the plan right now anyway. You know how that stuff changes.
Yeah, right,
but
sure.
I think we've got it done, and probably be a lot like the first record in that it doesn't really have a direction again. It's just like, one of these days I'm going to figure out what I want to say in my music, but until then, I'm still trying to figure out who I am as a person. I'm 26, and I just now feel like I'm starting to get a focus on what I want to do with my life, and maybe that'll reflect my music. But until then, it's just going to be free for all.
How did you pick the songs for that second CD? How many did you write for that?
Well, it'll change probably. Right now, I have. Do I have 3 things? I have three things on the record. That's the voice behind the curtain there. That's my voice of reason. But I have 3 things that I'm a writer on, and these songs are things that I've written by myself, or 2 of them are, and which is kind of me stepping out a little bit and just trying something.
When you write a song, do you target a certain audience, such as an age group or anything, or you just write for the general public?
Yeah, I don't know who I'm trying to get to. My songs always end up being something about a scene in a bar or something to do with drinking for some reason.
That's the direction you're going?
I guess so. I guess when I start writing a song, I always think of my buddies back in Ada, and there's one guy in particular named Buck. We all call him, and he loves music, and I'm always writing a song, thinking, man, Buck's going to think this line's cool or something, and Buck is that guy that sits in the bar all the time, so that's probably why that happened.
Do you have to live the song to write it?
No, absolutely not. But if I did that,
you'd be in the bar.
Well, I'd also be in jail.
Okay.
Yeah.